Hi, and welcome to today's weekly Habit of Health call. It is September 28th, and we are talking about in Dr. A's Habits of Health book, Chapter 5, and where are you now? And for those of you who have not gone through this chapter, it's kind of an eye-opener because it gives you an assessment of where you are versus where you think you are. And this was the perfect call for me to be leading today because I found out, I offered to run the call about 30 minutes ago while I was at the grocery store. And my focus was my children are really struggling to get protein in. And a really easy way to get a really balanced, quick, inexpensive thing is these. So can you guys see this? The Dannon Light and Fit Greek yogurt, because the ratio is very close to our MetaFast food. So most of these Dannon Light and Fits are 9 carbs and 12 grams of protein. How many of you guys knew that about these? Anyone? Crickets? Yeah? Okay. But it's only 80 calories and it has 0 fat. So I'm well aware my children are getting fat from alternate sources. So this is a really nice substitute to fill in the gaps. But I have a little 8-year-old who he does not love yogurt. So this morning he says to me when he walks out the door for school, "Mom, I really need to start eating a little healthier," because he's wearing those like soccer fabric shirts. What do you call that fabric? Dry wick or whatever. Yeah. And so you can see that he's just put a little bit of extra weight on, and we're starting to really work on showing him how he's been a very carb focused kid or a corn dog focused kid or a goldfish crackers focused kid. So while I was at the grocery store, I started thinking, what can I do to easily give him some protein options that I know he will like? So the first thing that I don't know where you guys are with your family on breakfast, but I have always defaulted to instant breakfast, which I know is not a great option, but at least they're getting protein from the milk, and there is some protein in the instant breakfast, but there's a heck of a lot of sugars. And when I put some egg whites in his instant breakfast, that did not fly. It was like the texture. So now I'm like, all right, what's next for my family? So what's next is this is my children love this Jenny O low sodium turkey. Have you guys seen this before? Now, when you are on the 5 and 1, I do not suggest using this as a lean. It is so high in sodium, not a good option. And unfortunately, one of these links is only 2 grams of protein, but it is no carbs. So I started thinking about, let's start thinking about our kids' morning fuelings if we were thinking 5 and 1 balanced food window. If I gave my kids 4 slices of this in the morning, which you know they'll put 4 slices down in a heartbeat, and then made, let's say, 1 whole egg with 2 egg whites, that's 18 grams of protein right there on top of the 8 they're already getting from my turkey bacon. And then if I give them a piece of whole wheat toast that has about 18 carbs in it, now I'm starting them off with a really great balanced breakfast. And I know if I gave them a plate of warm eggs and warm turkey bacon, they would pound it every morning. I just haven't thought through putting that in front of them in the morning. Then right here now, I don't love these, and Sarah, I would love you to unmute after I show this. But this right now is, I know when my 8-year-old's walking in the door coming home from school, he is going to grab carbs because his blood sugar is low. He hasn't eaten since 11 o'clock at school lunch or whatever he takes to lunch, and now it's 4 in the afternoon. That is 4.5 hours of not eating. So he's going to gravitate toward the carbohydrates to bring his blood sugar up, which is why it's even more important to make sure he's getting protein right when he walks in the door. So I keep figuring if I start cooking some more turkey bacon and they walk in the door smelling the turkey bacon, he'll grab that automatically. But he also loves corn dogs. Corn dogs, corn dogs, corn dogs. And I don't want him eating corn dogs. So the best hot dog on the market that I could find at Walmart is the Jenny O Turkey Franks. Now, they have 4 protein and only 1 carb. Yes, again, they're high in sodium. So for those of you in the weight loss phase of 5 and 1, don't go here. But the only thing is it has 6 grams of fat in it. Sarah, if you were me with your child walking in the door with low blood sugar and he won't eat the yogurt and the kid is so over cheese sticks he's about ready to throw them out the window, what would you be giving your kid when they walk in the door at that moment?
Boy, put me on the spot. My boy's just like your boy. He doesn't want to eat healthy. So my kids are always grabbing cereal. And you keep trying to, I don't have any great options for you because they do what they want to do. You can not have it in the house, but my kids gravitate to cereal. So I'm not really a good helper.
Well, I keep figuring if they walk into the smell of food just cooked, they're going to eat it because they're hungry. Where if I give them 5 minutes of it not being cooked, they will go get the fish crackers. So I keep thinking I should set an alarm on my phone for 3:35 to go either put some of the bacon in the microwave or throw some hot dogs in the microwave. And then they walk into the smell of it and it's already warm, ready for them to grab. And that way they would smell it. We all know if we're on plan, but we smell bacon, who can't go eat that piece of bad bacon, right? I mean, that's where I keep thinking of what protein options there are. Now, I have a 13-year-old who is open to a lot of options. And so this is what we've been working on for her school lunches. And I would assume many of you guys have seen these. Now, this is the brand I choose at Walmart. There's another brand that's the other one, but these low-carb tortillas. Now, what I love about these is, yes, they have 10 carbs, but they have 4 grams of fiber. For a young child, 4 grams of fiber is a lot. Like nothing they're eating has fiber in it. The Lucky Charms definitely does not have fiber in it. So when you do this, and then you guys zone in, look at this amazing thing I found at Walmart. It is Greek, so it's cream cheese and Greek yogurt spread. So I use this, I spread it on the low carb tortilla, and then we put the lunch meat in there with some cheese. Think about the amount of protein I'm giving my kid at lunch when she's eating that. That's amazing. And this Greek cream cheese and yogurt spread only has 2 carbs and 3 grams of protein. Think about it. Normally we're spreading mayonnaise or something like that on our kids' sandwiches, and this gives it the moisture without all the carbohydrates and fat in it. So that's one of the things that I'm starting to work on with my kids' school lunches. Then the other thing, how many of you guys, my kids weirdly enough like V8 juice. How many of you guys have kids that will actually drink V8 juice? Well, okay. So again, I'm being cost effective here. This is the Great Value V8 juice. It actually tastes very similar, but this is a lot more expensive in this thing than the round can where you use the can opener to pour the spout. So I bought one of these, and then I'm going to use a funnel and just put the can in there. But let me give you the content of this. 10 carbs, 2 fiber, and 6 sugars. So really, they're getting about 8 carbs per glass. That's low for something like this, but they're getting 2 protein. So at the end of the day, this 1 cup of this only is spiking their blood sugar with 6 carbs. If I give my child 3 pieces of that bacon, or they're drinking this with their morning eggs and that turkey bacon, what a great way to be getting some vegetables in, along with pairing it with protein. Have you guys ever thought about giving your kids the V8 juice and how to pair it with some protein? No? Yes? You technically could probably put some egg whites in there, but again, that won't fly in my house. So I'd love to, and then the other thing was, as I was leaving the grocery store feeling great about my choices, I was about 8 spots from the front. And as I'm pushing this cart full of $200 worth of groceries, because by the way, I went on Sandy's Kitchen Adventures. We chose 5 lean and greens that my kids are willing to eat. And I went and bought enough food to meal prep all of that today and tomorrow for the next 4 weeks. So I'm meal prepping it all, freezing it, and then every day at 3 p.m, I'm throwing it in the oven. So then I don't have to think about it the rest of the month, and I know I'm going to fuel my kids healthy. So I've got this massive cart of groceries. I start pulling up, and this lady comes in this truck, no handicap sign, and sits there. I have a huge cart of groceries. It's going to take me at least a couple minutes to unload that cart into my car, get settled. And I thought, really? And she waited that entire 5 minutes. When I looked, 5 spots up there was an open spot. So think about that for you guys. That's another habit of health, is getting in your healthy movement. Now, I parked there just because I was like, I know with all the shopping I'm doing, I'm moving, I don't care. And I didn't wait for a spot. I just came down the row, and that was the one that was open. But what about that mentality? How many of you have actually sat waiting for a parking spot like that when you could have parked 5 spots further? No. Like, most of us are now not in that space. But I actually looked at the truck hoping she had a handicap sign and there was no handicap spots, that she was waiting for 5 minutes for a spot that was 5 spots closer. So the thing that I wanted to kind of make a point of is healthy habits start with us. And in order to keep our home healthy, it's going to take a little bit more work. But all I know is, for me, when my kids are eating those fish crackers at 4 p.m, and I've fueled on my MetaFast meal at 3, those fish crackers kind of look a little tempting an hour into me having just eaten. Where if you can start pre-planning some healthy choices out, that if you grabbed a piece or two, it wouldn't throw you off the reservation. How much healthier do you think you would be, and how much easier would it be for you to stay on plan? So those were kind of the 2 things that I wanted to point out was, are you making sure to get the movement in, and are you thinking past yourself to start fueling your family in a positive manner? So I'd love to open up for the next 5 minutes before we wrap up, and see if anybody else has anything that's worked in their home, because a healthy home is a healthy us.
Well, for the past 2 weeks, I've been I've got 2 teenagers, 18-year-old, 16-year-old, and the teenagers like what they like. And it's hard to get to try new things, but every other day I have a healthy snack that I've made from scratch, that I've gone and looked to see carb protein balance. And if they like it, great. If they don't, okay, I tried. We were talking about something for a lunchbox, and I just made this the other day, and it was super great. I just got rotisserie chicken from Costco. They already have it in the package, already deboned and everything. Took that, chopped it all up, put in like a half a cup of Greek yogurt and a tablespoon of light mayonnaise, a little salt and pepper, with some celery. And oh my gosh, my family put that on a low carb tortilla shell, and I put it on lettuce, and oh my gosh, that was so good. So simple.
Mm-hmm.
So simple.
And think about that, Letitia. If you had that prepared right after school, all assembly, they would have grabbed that and eaten that. Like, when we think of snacks, we think of easy grab and goes. Like Kara just messaged some great ideas. So obviously not obviously, some of you may not know this, low-fat cottage cheese and fruit, beef or turkey jerky, and obviously, good point, Kara, watch the sodium on those, so choose some natural ones. And one call previously with Ronette, I don't know if you guys remember Ronette that was getting on the calls. you can actually make your own chicken and turkey jerky. There are amazing recipes. You just have to watch the ones that are using honey and things like that. But that's on my to-do list. You know what, Kara? We should make turkey jerky at the coach retreat, or chicken jerky.
Okay, we'll do that along with everything else.
Right. You think about it.
I like that idea. I think that sounds like a great idea.
Right? So, okay, I will come prepared and we will do it because I've never tried it, but I know it works because I've had people that do it. Okay. So then Kara's other ideas, mixed nuts and trail mix. Great idea. Pumpkin seeds. Half a cup has about 14 grams of protein. Wow, I did not know that. And by the way, the other thing that keeps popping up on my radar, because Ramona Blanchard had them up at the couples retreat at the cabin, chia seeds, people. Those have some awesome protein and fiber in them. So I'm trying to figure out how I can secretly incorporate those into my kids' food. So if anybody, like I'm sure it would go great in the yogurt, but I can't get the 8-year-old to eat the yogurt, so that doesn't work for me. Hard-boiled eggs, great idea, Kara. Nut butter on celery with raisins. A deli roll-up like we've just talked about. A mini bean and cheese quesadilla. Ooh, and on a low-carb tortilla would be fantastic. Obviously, protein shakes. A chunky monkey shake that's banana, peanut butter, and chocolate milk. My 8-year-old would love that. Hummus.
You can actually use one of our meal replacements that is a chocolate one, and you can use PB2 and a little bit of banana extract.
Oh.
It's super, or you can use like our banana pudding or banana shake and then do the PB2 extract and some cocoa powder. So you can always make it very healthy, you guys.
You're right. I didn't even think about that. Okay, good thinking. Or you could start with a base of almond milk and then start doing that. I forgot to add that to my list at the grocery store. Hummus and vegetables, those are great. Yogurt and berry parfaits, grape and cheese sticks. So these are really great options. But I think most of us were so focused on our own health and trying to get a grasp on that we're kind of, it's almost so much focus that we let a lot of other things at home go on the wayside, where if you can start thinking about your kids while you're in the weight loss phase and looking at what has protein, what has carbs, your transition and maintenance phase will be a breeze, because all of this will already be on your radar, instead of not looking at this at all and then all of a sudden panicking that now you've come close to your goal weight and now you need to transition and you don't know what great options are. So Kara?
So here's what I'm hearing you say, and hopefully everyone else is hearing this too, that I think if we're just prepared, I mean, when our kids come home from school and they go, what can I eat? And we're like, no, I don't know. You know, that's not going to help. But if you're prepared, honestly, they're going to eat what you have out there because it's easier than getting it themselves. And one of the things that Dr. Abe wants us to take that health assessment, which was what the thing was for this week, because he wants us to be aware of where we are. And I don't know about you guys, but I've taken it twice. And one was at the very beginning of my health journey 3 years ago. One was about a year and a half ago. And it was amazing to me how unhealthy I was. I didn't really know how unhealthy I was. But what he says is you probably overestimate your health status. Most people don't realize their current actions are predictive of future disease, and that they're living in a sort of purgatory of non-sickness. So kind of big words there, but it really all comes down to being aware of exactly what we're doing. And when we're talking about our families, as a health coach, I really encourage, and I'm sure all the rest of the health coaches are like this, encourage our clients to don't just make something for you and something different for your family, because if you do that, it's just a plan to use for right now. But if you will take your family favorites like tacos and make them lean and green for you, your family's going to start eating better. And even if they don't eat exactly the way you do, you're going to be able to eat what they eat. And that's so much better for your kids to see than you saying, I'm on this plan right now and I have to eat this way and you guys get to eat that way and pretty soon I'll lose my weight. And it just teaches them bad things about dieting. So, you know, with tacos, I didn't always get the leanest meat for my tacos, because obviously more expensive to eat healthy, right? And so, but I always get the leanest ground beef, or I've started using ground chicken just because chicken takes on the flavor of whatever spices you put with it. And so, or seasonings. So I use the leanest I can, and then a little bit of cheese. My stuff goes on a bed of lettuce with a lot of tomatoes and stuff. Theirs goes in a tortilla. There's really not that much difference, and no one notices that I'm having mine in a bowl instead of on a tortilla because they're too focused on what they're eating. But we're all eating the same thing basically, right? So if you'll just do that, just that one little step of making whatever you make for your family able to be a lean and green for you so you can sit down with them, that's going to make a huge, huge difference to not only your success on the program, but to helping your family have a good mindset about what this plan is. It's not a diet, it's a lifestyle change. Sorry, Tish.
Oh, I was just going to say, when my kids come home, they're tired, they're worn out, but if they're complaining of a headache or just very tired or listless or whatever, I start down my list. How much water did you have today? Most of the time, it's 0. Yeah. How much water have you had? What have you eaten?
Did you eat breakfast?
Did you eat breakfast? Exactly.
Yeah.
And hopefully that's ingraining in them now that these are controllable controllable habits.
Yeah.
They're in control of how much water they drink and what they're eating. And if it's high carb things, they're in control of that.
Right. Yes. Well, and thinking about that, like I said, I've been sending my kids out the door and they're struggling to just even eat all of a sudden this year in the morning. Like if I give them an instant breakfast, they're drinking this much. So I know they're tanking by 9 o'clock in the morning at the latest. So I keep trying to decide if I should see if putting a string cheese in their backpack and say, you know what, it's at first recess, take that out and eat it on the playground. I know that they would. And I don't know if you guys have heard me say this, but my daughter, the 13-year-old, she drinks a lot of my shakes and she's very athletic. And so she normally drinks a ready-made chocolate shake in the morning while she's getting ready. So day 1 of school, she comes home and says, Mom, I was starving today at like 9:30 or 10 o'clock. And I said, of course you were. That was your blood sugar tanking. And when you've been home all summer, you just eat. Your body's telling you to eat. And as a teenager, they eat when they're hungry, not us adults that have this wacky stuff in their head. So I said, all right. So in the morning, we had her drink one of my ready-made shakes and have one of these Greek yogurts, right? Because I wanted to test her body. When she did that, then she comes home the second day and says, Mom, I was even hungrier when I had that yogurt. So I said, all right, then what can we do? Because you need to eat because that's telling you that your blood sugar is dropping. And she goes, Mom, it's the weirdest thing. My 10 o'clock teacher told us today that we can all eat during class because she's starting some program where she needs to eat every 3 hours. And I'm like, ding, ding, ding. And I'm like, all right, what's she eating? And I go, is she eating one of our MetaFast bars? And she goes, no. I watched her. I saw her eat an apple, which is a bad choice by itself. So I'm going to pay attention because she knows that just that apple is going to spike that lady's blood sugar. So the next day she takes a yogurt with a, ice pack and stuff. She's eating the yogurt. So she goes, I'm paying attention. She goes, Mom, so she ate an apple, a cheese stick, and a yogurt. I'm like, what kind of yogurt? So she told me, and it was one of those that, yes, it was a Greek yogurt, but it had double the carbs of the protein. So I'm like, all right, Rachel, let's do the math. You've got 25 grams in that apple. You've got 25 grams in that Greek yogurt. So she's at 50 carbs. And now that cheese stick gave her 6 or 8, and that yogurt gave her 12. How do you think she's doing? She's like, she's storing the carbohydrates for fat. She's not really going to lose much weight. I'm like, all right, I'm teaching her, because she's not. And I said to her, how much weight did this lady have to lose? And she's like, Mom, she has 100 pounds to lose. And so it was a really great thing. So at least that lady's getting on a plan of eating every 3 hours. So now we're 5 weeks into school, I said to her, is your teacher still eating at the beginning of class? She's like, nope, she's not even doing it anymore. I'm like, exactly, because it takes so much time. And so I said, Rachel, what if you talk to her a little bit about how she could balance. She's like, Mom, she's mean. She won't even. I'm like, okay. But it's really great that she's listening to her body and she knows she's got to fuel at 10 o'clock. And then before she cheers at a game at 3 o'clock. So just start watching your kids. And I'm going to start seeing if I can send my kids to school with a cheese stick that they could eat at 10 o'clock. Because I know they're tanking because they're not eating a good breakfast right now. And they're not eating till 12:30. So did this give you guys some food for thought about what's going on with your family at home?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Good. And like I say, if any of you guys have any other options better than Jenny O stuff, I'm open to it. But at this point, I just keep thinking that's better than the regular bacon. And I know that they will go eat 4 pieces of this bacon without even thinking twice about it. So, that's my current solution to getting some protein in their little bodies while they're willing to actually listen to what I say. So, well, good. Well, go take the assessment in chapter 5. Start paying attention to the habits that you are creating or you're not creating. And hopefully that helps you get to a healthier you. See you guys next week. Bye, guys.
Thanks. Bye.